Hello. Today we're going to be talking about whether or not you should get a random roommate. Short answer, yeah, it's fine. Long answer, yeah, but it depends on a few things. I lived with a random roommate at the dorms 3 out of the 4 years in college, freshman, junior, and senior year. And for all three roommates, they were pretty fine. Part of the reason is because I didn't spend a lot of time at the dorm room, which leads to my first topic. How long do you think you're going to be spending in the dorm? I didn't really spend a lot of time at the dorm because I didn't really like studying in my room. I like the idea of going somewhere to study because it kind of forces you to be in the mindset of like, oh, I'm going somewhere to study, I might as well study. And also the dorm room table and chairs weren't the most comfortable. Like the chairs were made of hard plastic and the tables were always like just too short where my back would get like sore after a few hours. So I just didn't like working in my dorm. Because I'm rarely there, I don't really see my roommate, and then so we don't really have any problems. However, I do know some people who like to have their dorm room be kind of homey, so that way they go there after class and kind of relax, so they spend a lot more time at the dorm. And if you spend a lot more time there, there's a higher chance that there might be issues that come up. So that leads to my second topic, which is communicate. The best way that I've found to figure out issues, especially with roommates, is to communicate and communicate early. For all my random roommates, the first few weeks I would hang out with them and like eat with them and kind of get to know them. There we would kind of like talk about how we like live. So like we talk about like class schedules, sleep schedules, and then kind of see if any of those clash. For one of my roommates, on Wednesday, he'd have his first class at 12 p.m. But for me, that Wednesday, I would always have a 9 a.m. class. I would make sure that on Wednesdays, whenever I wake up, I'd make sure my alarm is like really quiet. And also I'd make sure to turn off my alarm really quick so that way he wouldn't wake up. We'd figure out a way to live in the same room without kind of getting into each other's ways. One of the problems that I've had is that whenever I go take a shower, I usually forget to bring my keys. So my roommate would leave and then he'd lock the door. And then when I come out of the shower, I'm like, oh, it's locked. And I'd just be in like a towel. Either I'd have to call my roommate or I'd have to go downstairs to the lobby and get a temporary key and then unlock the door. This happened a few times, so I talked to my roommate. And then basically he wants to lock the door because of security reasons. So for me, what I do is that if he was around when I'm going to take a shower, I'd let him know that I'm taking a shower just so that way he'd leave the door unlocked. And then I'd also bring my key just in case that he still wants to lock the door. Communication is key to making sure that you live like peacefully with your roommate. However, I don't want to make this video seem like any roommate is fine and random roommates are always going to be great. So here are some stories about some of the times that my friends and I have had interesting encounters with roommates. For my freshman year roommate, when I got the notice saying like, oh, this is your roommate, Illinois only sent me his name, email address, and phone number. I looked him up on Facebook. There was like 3 people with his name. I clicked on the first one and then I sent him a message. Let me read you the message. Hey, if I got the right person, I believe you're my roommate. Yeah. Cool. When are you moving in? I'm gonna be there at like 20th or something. How old are you? 18. How about you? I'm 27. So your birthday isn't in 1994? Yeah, I was joking about 27. I'm 21. I don't know about you, but him like asking me my age and then lying about his age and saying that he's 27 was a little bit weird. But I guess it's because he transferred, so he's a junior, so maybe for him that's kind of funny. For me, I was like, that's kind of a weird first impression, but after I met him in person, he was just a normal person. My experiences with like weird, I guess, roommates is kind of mild. My friend had a little bit of a worse roommate. For him, he lived in a 2-person apartment. And for some reason, 2-people apartments are the ones that have the most issues. I don't know why, but it seems to be the case. So my friend was living in this apartment, and then it was his birthday recently. So he came home one day with a cake. So he told the roommate, hey, I'm going to leave the cake in the fridge. And the roommate was like, cool, sounds good. A few days later, my friend wants to eat some cake. So he opens the fridge, and then he sees that half his cake is gone. So he goes to his roommate, and he says, do you know who ate half my cake? And the roommate was like, nope, I don't. My friend was like, well, this is a 2-person apartment. If I didn't eat the cake, there's only one other person who could have eaten the cake. That roommate later on also stole my friend's TV when they moved out, so I guess it's just sometimes there are bad roommates. But that's not the worst roommate. So another friend, in his freshman year, he had a triple, which means that he had 2 other roommates. The first roommate was completely normal. The second roommate seemed normal at first, but in the middle of the year, he decided he wanted more privacy in his section of the room. So he taped some curtains to the ceiling that ran all the way to the floor to like separate his section from everyone else. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt for the privacy thing, because sharing the room with 2 other people is a little bit harder than sharing just with one. So maybe wanting your own privacy is okay. But the weird part is that my friend and his first roommate would start to notice that there would be bottles that would appear on the windowsill. There'd be like 1-liter water bottles that would be filled with this yellow liquid that my friend assumed was pee. For some reason, this roommate would hide in his like little section of the room, and then he'd pee in bottles when there was literally a restroom like down the hall. Every time my friend would come home, he would like say the roommate's name just to double check whether or not the roommate's home, because the curtains were always up, so you'd never know. He could be in there peeing in a bottle and no one would know. So there are definitely some weird roommates out there, but remember, your first line of defense is communication. So maybe talk to your roommate and say, hey, I don't like your pee bottles on the windowsill and waking up to the smell of pee in the morning. Could you not do that and go to the bathroom? And then worst comes to worst, if the guy goes like, I disagree, I like the way the light hits the pee bottles and refracts on the walls. It kind of makes nice patterns that I like to wake up to. It seems like pee art. If you guys can't come to a compromise, you could always go to the RA and say, my roommate and I, we just can't come to an agreement. I want to go to a different room. Hopefully you found this helpful. If you did, please like this video and comment your favorite roommate experience. And that's it for today's video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. That's it for today. That's it for